First story. I have a bad feeling something is going on between my younger sister and my husband. Rachel, 30F, have been married to my husband, Ryan, 32M, for 6 years. We have a really strong relationship. I would say the usual couple drama through our years, but we have grown from it and have a loving relationship. All was well until about 8 months ago. My sister, star 28F, moved back to our hometown after living in Florida since she was 18. Her long-term boyfriend dumped her and moved to a new city, leaving her destitute. The circumstance behind their breakup are still largely unknown. When my sister returned, she told us that he had been cheating with men. I didn't really know him that well, but that sounded far-fetched. I only met the guy 3 times, as my sister would only come home for Christmas, and usually only stay for 3 to 4 days. He accompanied her twice during their 5 years together. The other time I met him was when my husband and I visited them for a day during our vacation 3 years ago. He just didn't strike me as the guy who would have a double life and just leave Star with nothing. I tried to reach out to him once but found I was blocked, so I just let it go. Star moved back in with my parents, Gina 55F and Jimmy 56M. For the first month she was here she struggled to find work, so I suggested that maybe Ryan could help her out. He is a higher up at his company, and figured he would have some pull. He did, and she was able to get a position in his department. This is a job in her field. For some background, my sister and I have never been very close. She is the golden child, at least to our mom, and our dad is spineless when it comes to our mom. It's not super obvious, just a million little things. Like we both got cars when we turned 16, but I got an 8-year-old Dodge Neon, and she got a 2-year-old Mitsubishi Eclipse. Her dance practices, outfits, competitions, I know they cost thousands of dollars over the years. Some of those competitions were 6 or 7 hours away, and they never batted an eye. Meanwhile, when I would ask for $50 for a volleyball or basketball camps at the local college in our town, they would give it to me, but you would have thought I was asking them to build me my own arena. I think what pissed me off the most ever was when I was 17, I was out with my boyfriend, lost track of time, and was 15 minutes past curfew. They took my car for a whole month for that. Then when my sister came home, 2 hours late, and smelled like pot, the next year, she just got a stern talking to. I wasn't exactly sad when she left for college and decided to stay in Florida. Despite all of that, she began spending more and more time at our house, which at first I thought was nice, as maybe she was making the effort to be closer to me. Then I started to notice that her and Ryan were getting rather familiar with each other. They would talk about seemingly anything at length. They started having their own inside jokes. If I tried to include myself, they would say, "Just a work thing." When I asked my husband about it, he just said they have a lot in common and are working on several projects together at work. The first real red flag was that after about a month of this, she would be there at our house when I got home from work. Ryan and I have different work schedules. While he gets a traditional 8 to 430 workday, I work 10/7. This was pretty often. When I asked about it, I always got "we had some work stuff to do." 2 months ago, I noticed something that had me questioning my own sanity. I make the bed every day before I leave for work. I always make it so the open side of the pillowcase is towards the edge of the bed. Star was over that day when I got home. She ate with us, then went back to my parents' house. As we got in bed, I noticed 2 of the pillows had the cases in towards the middle. I asked my husband if he had been in bed today. He looked a little shook, but said, "No, why do you ask?" I said the bed's not the same as I made it this morning. He told me, I must have been mistaken then, because no one was in the bed. I looked through his phone and laptop without his knowing and found nothing. Then again, they work together 8 hours a day 5 days a week, then hang out after work. Why would they need to text? I felt like I was losing my mind. 2 weeks ago my parents invited us over for dinner. It was going fine. Until I saw something. Ryan was simply walking by. Star lightly grabbed his arm and he turned to her. She whispered something and they touched foreheads together. It was only a second and Ryan jolted up, then kept on walking. Star then just kind of looked at me, smiled, and went back to what she was doing. I'm not an idiot. I know this is a mountain of red flags. I just don't want to believe I have been in love with my husband since I was 21 years old. I have planned a weekend getaway to the city. I'm going to ask him about things there. I really hope it's not what I'm thinking. Update. You were alright, and my world is destroyed. We went on our weekend adventure. It was a nice Friday night. We had drinks, we danced, we were intimate. The next day we had more planned, and I almost didn't say anything. Really thought he couldn't be doing that with her and this with me. I was so wrong. We were almost ready to start our Saturday, and I point-blank asked him if he was having an affair with my sister. He teared up and said, yes, he was. My heart crushed. I asked him why. He said he was sorry, he didn't mean for this happen. They just clicked and before he knew it they were kissing, then more. I asked if he had been sleeping with her in our bed before I got home from work. He just turned his head in shame. I left at that point. I had nothing with me but my purse and I drove home without him. He got an Uber and arrived a few hours later with my other things. He tried to apologize but I didn't acknowledge him through my tears. He packed a bag and left for a hotel. The next day I told my parents. They already knew. They said they were sorry about what happened. Told me Star had left last night and might not be back for a few days. I'm sure she went to stay with Ryan. That all happened 3 months ago. Our divorce is almost final. Ryan found an apartment to rent right away, and Star moved in with him. I am only contacting him in regards to our divorce. He initially said I could just have the house and the savings. I think this was guilt talking. Then after a few days said that we would have to split the house. I know this was Star in his ear. I had already moved everything out of the savings into a new account, so there was no fight there. Just like that 9 years of my life gone. He has no idea what he is getting himself into. She is a narcissist and will throw him away eventually. Star has been exceedingly cruel during all this. A few days after I found out she tagged me in a Facebook post. It was selfie of her and him giving her a kiss on the cheek from behind. The caption read, "Feeling loved." It was disgusting. I logged out of my account and deleted the app off my phone. She texted me about an hour later saying, "Sorry sis, didn't mean to tag you. No hard feelings, I hope we can still be close. You'll meet your soulmate someday too." I blocked her on everything I could think of. My parents haven't been any better. They pretended to be sympathetic in the beginning. When I told them I was going no contact with Star and Ryan, my mother looked at me and said, "I'm sorry this happened. It shouldn't have happened this way, but your sister deserves to be happy too. You'll meet someone, and then we can put this all behind us." I got really upset and told them what Star had tagged me in and the text she sent me, and my mother said, "Well, you shouldn't be on that stuff anyway." My father hasn't said a thing this whole time. He just sits there. I asked him once what he thought, and he just said, "I agree with your mother," then walked out of the room. I am going full no contact with him as well. The house will sell soon and I'm moving to a different state. I am not telling any of my family where or when. I haven't told them that's my plan. I'm just done with all of them. I wish them all the worst. Update. Hi everybody, I know it's been 4 years since I last updated everyone, but we had a major situation happen. I'll start with giving you an update on myself. I am recently engaged. It took a lot of therapy to get myself back out there. I tried dating right away once I got settled here in Minnesota. I went on one okay first date, and then I got shown just how much of an ashut he was, and I swore off man forever. That's when I went to therapy to process all the trauma from the betrayal of my husband and sister, as well the abandonment of my parents. It was a hard year of that when I met James, 37M. I'm working on getting over the fact he has the same first name as my dad, lol. James is wonderful. He is a chef. Him and his fraternal twin brother Jack own a restaurant bar that is doing very well. I am very excited to start a future with James. Enough about me, now to the drama. First off, I'd like to tell you about the audacity my family had. Roughly 9 months after I left, I had been totally no contact, did not tell them where I moved to. I had told some friends and a couple cousins as I was close to them. I got home to my apartment only to find a wedding invitation in the mail to the wedding of Ryan and Star, with a gross picture of them hugging in a fucking sunflower field. In it was a letter from my parents. It basically read like I need to forgive and put all this behind us. That they know things didn't go the best. That's an understatement, but we're a family and families work through problems. They also claimed Star wanted me to be a bridesmaid just like she was for me. WTF. That letter opened up all sorts of old wounds at the time, and my therapist got a lot more business. Today I find it hilarious, but then not so much. I did not respond at all. The only thing I did was figure out which part of my extended family, let my ex-family know my address, and cut them off as well. That brings me to the most recent drama. Last week Ryan of all people showed up at my apartment. James and I do not live together, but that will be changing soon. He looked good, like too good, as in he was trying to look his best when he showed up. I asked, "What do you want?" He said, "I just want to talk. I'm so sorry for what I did. Star and I are divorcing. I figured out she was unfaithful our whole marriage. Surprise, surprise. I don't expect you to take me back, but we should talk and get some closure for both of our sakes." I did a double blink. He has lost his mind. I looked him right in the eye. "No, I give you no closure. You made your own bed. Did you really think that golden hoo-ha of hers, that I'm telling you has had more visitors than Holiday Inn, was suddenly going to put up the no vacancy sign just because you put a ring on it? You're even dumber than I thought? I forgive nothing. I want nothing from you. I don't care. I'm better off now, and that will always be the case. You can go to hell." Then I turned and went back in my apartment, locking the door behind me. I immediately called my landlady, who is the sweetest old lady in the world. I've gotten kinda close to her over these 4 years, and she knows about my previous marriage. Ryan was still just loitering out in the hallway. A few minutes later her 2 nephews that help maintain the apartment grounds were there, letting Brian know he was not welcome here, and was on a banned list. If he returned, the police would be called for trespassing. I was hoping that would be the end of it, but it wasn't. I have a fairly easy 9-5 work schedule now. Because of that I go to the restaurant almost any night James is managing. I don't get in the way, just hang out and enjoy the few minutes here and there he can give me. I've become good friends with a lot of the staff, which include a lot of James and Jack's family, and it's really the family environment I always wished I had. I am there the next night, when Ryan walks in and just comes and sits at my table. It was a slow Tuesday night. James noticed and recognized Ryan from photos I had shown him. He immediately came over to check on me. Ryan stuck his hand out. James just looked at it, then said to me, "Want me to kick him out?" I said, "Not yet. I got a question or two." Ryan perked up like he was winning or something. What a tool. I asked him to tell me what happened between him and Star. I'll admit it was pure morbid curiosity, and I was hoping she got screwed over in the divorce. Ryan told us she was having at least 2 affairs with married men. Old habits die hard, I guess. This was 2 years in. It was a tough time for me. I interrupted. "You are not that dumb though. Did you protect yourself, or did she get half of all your stuff?" Ryan replied smugly. "I stuck out almost another year with her so I could start stowing away savings and sold off some assets. In the end she got a fraction of what she would have." I asked, "And what happened to her then?" Ryan replied, "She had to move back in with your parents again." I satisfied said, "Ah yes, Thank you, that's what I wanted to hear. He can go now. James, you heard her, out of my restaurant. Ryan, but, no, I want to. I cut him off. No forgiveness, no closure. I just wanted to know my loser sister was back living at home. Get out. James stood and pointed at the door. Ryan looked around and saw he was being glared at by the bartender and two members of the wait staff. He stood, tuck-tailed, and turned towards the door. James started, and if you ever come back, Ryan quickly. Yeah, I know, cops, trespassing. After he was gone, I got checked on by almost everyone around. It was nice and embarrassing. My future in-laws, who I adore, called me. They demanded I stay with James the next couple days just to be safe. It was really sweet. I have never had a family look after me like this. I didn't hear from Ryan again, and hopefully I never will. Second story. Should I contact the other betrayed spouse before I figure things for me? I've found out about an online relationship my partner has had with another man. Don't have evidence as I only saw the images because her laptop was left unlocked, and I went snooping because of past experience. I actually wasn't expecting to find anything because I thought we were over all this BS a decade ago. Didn't think to copy them, and I don't know the password, so no evidence. Nothing physical, probably. The guy is pretty private on social media, but he is an academic and has written a book, and of course my partner has bought it. He has dedicated the book to his wife and kids, so I found her name and have found her social media also. What's the best way to approach this? I'm still coming to terms with all of this myself, and I'm pretty sure my partner would totally lose it if contacted the OBS. While that might be fun from a fireworks perspective, it might limit my options. This isn't the first time it has happened OFC, but I thought we were in a better place. We have a few kids together, and I'm getting counseling, so I think it would be best to wait and see how things fall with my own situation before complicating things. Then again, OBS has a right to know, and she might be able to fill in more of the gaslighting I'm currently getting. I know the advice will be for me to leave, but I'm specifically asking for what to do about the other person, and whether to wait until I know what I'm doing. Also, what should I do to the book? I'm up for anything that won't get me in trouble with the authorities. P.S. I created this account after being awake for 23 hours and didn't realize the spelling mistake. Update. Does accessing an old phone notify the user on their new iPhone? I'm attempting reconciliation with WW. Confronted a few weeks ago when she was texting a number on WhatsApp. Turned out to be the EAP from 15 years ago. They only just got in touch a few weeks ago. I saw the text and nothing suggestive. But perhaps this was deleted. I didn't realize you could look up deleted texts. But they were all sent when I was out of the house. I did also find, on an old laptop, images from a separate EA, at least a few years back. She was surprised because she thought she had deleted all of that stuff. She thinks because everything happened years ago, and swears there was no physical hookup or videos, it was just a fling. She acknowledges that I'm really hurt and she made a mistake. And I'm too upset a fucking chump. Love the kids don't like conflict to push further. So I think she feels it's all fine now, but I'm still emotionally wrecked because OFC it's not the first time. She definitely lied the first time around, and I'm sure this is no different. We're now in a love-bombing hyper-emotional stage, which is really fucking up my feelings. To the question, she has an old phone that she switched from a year or two ago. I'm wondering if old texts might still be on that one so I can find the truth. However, if I recharge the old phone, will it send notifications to her that your account is being accessed by a new device? I get these sometimes when I reactivate old devices of my own. Any thoughts on this? Should I just ask her to unlock the phone? Not even sure of legality of all this. Should I unlock it with Wi-Fi switched off? It's sitting in her bedside table, so I can't just take it. I also need to find the pin to this old phone, so that's the other dilemma. I am already seeking IC to talk through my overall feelings as it's a mess right now. Update. Another should I tell the OBS post. My WW had an at least EA and possible PA with a professor from 2021 to 2022. He went NC with her after about a year, and he and his wife moved overseas to their home country. I'm considering reconciliation with my WW. She is adamant I do not tell the OBS as it will ruin OBS life and family. She is worried about AP's mental health. They have apparently been NC, but I'm not checking because everything is so tense. She did tell him I knew and was pissed on D-Day, but she says he never responded and has deleted the message. All super sus. I know, I'm having therapy. I don't have a lot of evidence except for a silicone copy of AP's penis, ick, and confession from my WW. Also some texts they sent, but it was mostly all deleted. I've found OBS Messenger account and her LinkedIn. She sounds kind of awesome tbh. My questions are, how do I convince my WW to let me contact OBS? Or do I just threaten to do it, and if she says you'll leave me R is over and I send it anyway? How do you start the message? Should I do it anonymously or with my own LinkedIn Facebook profile? I'm going to discuss this with my psychologist. Part of me wants to make sure she knows what went on to give her some agency. I'm an honest person and I hate the idea of covering up. Part of me wants revenge on AP. Part of me thinks that this will be a test if AP and WW are NC. My only real concern is that her or AP goes crazy and exposes things before I know if R is possible or not. Writing this out, so many red flags for our fuck. Update. I keep feeling anger. I need to share my full story at some point, but this is a short summary. Basically, WW had at least an EA with another man from 2021 to 2022. He cut her off. Our relationship had been crappy for that time but picked up again afterwards. I only found out about it 2 months ago and have been trickle-truthed since then. The final straw was finding a silicone replica of his penis in a clothing drawer. The background is a series of AIs from 2005 to 2009. I thought we had moved past this, but obviously not. We have 3 kids and successful careers, all DNA tested and mine. No STDs. I feel things had been better for the last year. Now they are terrible. I'm so angry that I've been tricked and fooled. I don't want to trust her, but I still do. She says she has learned her lesson and is devoted to me now. Doesn't want to split up the kids. That it was the worst mistake of her life because she could lose me. I still love her and have spent most of my life with her. We have many happy memories together. She still makes me laugh. I am passive-aggressive, which doesn't help. I was so angry all day yesterday and just wanted to scream. I'm too pathetic to even ask to look at her phone. I'm in IC and they say I need to be more assertive. I hate making people upset with me. I still haven't summoned up the courage to talk to the OBS, and I feel like a weakling for this. I feel like now I'm not a fun person to be around, which will just reinforce her wayward ways. I've read the 180 but struggling to get over my shitty mood. I'm trying to line up MC where I hope I can vent some of these problems. I think my attempt at R is just going to collapse in a heap. Update. How do you maintain trust when everything was hidden? WW kept an online relationship going for 2 years. She says 3 months, but there are texts over a 2-year period. I still have some unanswered questions. I'm considering R but waiting until we see the MC. Have kids and entwined finances, and I still love her. She seems remorseful. But this isn't the first time an EA has occurred. D-Day X2 was a month ago, I think. In the age of automatically disappearing texts and messages, how can you ever be sure of trusting someone? Sure, I can look at her phone, but everything is already deleted. Update. Urgent advice needed. MC hasn't happened yet, 1 month out from day 4.2 and finally had day 4.3. They did have sex once in a hotel. She says she has read the books about being honest and thought she should be upfront. Was going to wait for MC but weeks away. I kind of assumed that they must have gotten together at some point, but to hear the truth is devastating. She wanted me to stay in bed. I felt ill looking at her. I've gone downstairs. But I feel bad because at least she was honest for once, and my response is to abandon her. Now she'll never be truthful again. I told her that her honesty was the only thing keeping me in the house. Update. Trying to sleep in different bed after PA trickle truth and getting accused of abandoning WW. D-Day 4.3. WW and AP had sex 2 years ago. Trickle truthed flirty texts to send a vibrator copy of his penis to had sex once. They lived in different towns. WW voluntarily offered this up as part of reconciliation. With this latest revelation, I'm back to square one. I slept in a different bed. She was quite upset by this. I was honest, so you should still with me. Looking at her is triggering now. Last night was going to be night 3 of sleeping apart. She said you should be in bed with me. If you leave, you are abandoning me. Your actions have consequences. I replied, your actions have. I walked out of the room and returned. I said, threatening me doesn't make me want to stay here. That wasn't a threat, it was a statement, was her reply. I decided to stay after taking sleeping pills. But no touching or contact. I'm really angry about being treated this way. Marriage counseling is tomorrow, but my individual session first. Third story. My infidelity experience, and me trying to cross the finish line, badly. So I've been holding on to this and not been able to talk about it with friends, parents, basically anyone except my therapist, and I'm kind of at my breaking point. I shared some stuff on Reddit earlier and it kind of made me feel better, so here goes nothing. Maybe I'll get some sleep after this. Okay, so 3 years ago my wife told me about her affair. She had a 4-year affair with another lawyer at her firm. I was broken. She told me about how his wife found out and she WNT to stop her from getting to me first, so she told me. She would never have told me if not for that, she said. 2 kids, now 14 and 16, with her, who I love to death and don't want to miss out on a minute with them. We were HS sweethearts who got back together after college. I knew her since I was 15. I'm now 46. I wasn't the best husband to her and we had problems for sure. Mostly finances and parenting issues, which she avoided and ran away to parents and refused to work together when we disagreed. She put the kids between us and used them as a shield to never have to face issues. She neglected me for years and created boundaries. Then she'd tell me I was abusive when I yelled or got mad at her for this. I broke a table, I punched a wall, I would scream into my pillows and throw them. This was her justification for everything. She was the victim all along. Now, was I an asshole at times? Fuck yeah. I was miserable and desperate to fix things and I was lashing out. It just pushed her away further apparently. Whatever it is, what it is there, and I'm still fucked up about it. So I stayed. I remain here still. We did therapy. She did all the right things, per the experts, in terms of cutting off everything, being fully transparent, blah blah blah. She pulled out all the stops the first 2 years of reconciliation. Whatever I needed did not get neglected anymore. We worked on communication and trust and set boundaries. There seemed like there was hope. She told me she fell back in love with me during COVID and has been doing her best to make things right. Well, time has eroded all of that and I'm still sitting here with the weight of that devastation on me. She couldn't make the counseling sessions, too busy. Now misses date night every week since January. Communication about the state of the relationship causes too much anxiety for her. She has anxiety issues. So we have fallen into this place where we don't talk about anything and pretend it is fine. So I broke. I ended up having a revenge fling with a beautiful younger woman who helped me get some semblance of my dignity and confidence back in some fucked up way. She was wonderful in every way. I miss her, but I'm thankful for our time. I don't feel great about the revenge. I wanted to just feel how it felt and see if I could forgive her. It didn't work. I felt how it felt and it was great. I fucking loved every minute of our time together. Just like they did. So no, it didn't make me feel better on the whole. It made it way harder to forgive than I hoped. Now back in the usual swing of my broken marriage and have done all I can to forgive her, but I fucking can't. It is killing me to stay with her. I can't stand her laugh. I cringe when I hear her coming, despite all efforts to try to get past it. Despite all the love and appreciation for what she did do well for this family. So I know, I gotta leave. And I am planning to. But I don't know that I will make it to my youngest's graduation. I changed my career to help this family. I was making a strong six-figure salary and left it to be a stay-at-home dad as the lower earner and did so until kids could be on their own a bit after school. Then I got certified to be a teacher so I could be home for them after school, not making as much as her obviously as I stayed home kids and took care of them while she worked. So my options are leave now, get a decent alimony check for 10 years, but my salary in EP is now completely dwarfed, so that money will need to go to retirement funds more than anything. Kids would only be a factor for next few years and money coming to me would get cut substantially once kids are on their own. So while it would be great to get a nice young sexy Dominican girlfriend, Che Loche, and take her to Italy and spoil her, I'm not setting myself up for success. My other option is to stay and cash out later. Currently that's the plan. Maybe I'm chicken shit to leave and am afraid of being single and a teacher in a small apartment with no money. Maybe I've thought this thing through 10,000 different ways, and spent far too much time getting there to second guess with ruminations now. But all I know is it's been 3 years since learning. I still love her in a lot of ways but I'll never trust her. Never look at her the same way again. Never get that feeling of safety and peace and happiness with her again. Can reconciliation be done? Supposedly, all the experts and data shows a small margin of success in getting it to work. I don't think I can ever get over it. It's been 3 fucking years and it haunts me every fucking day. Yet I stay, laying on grenade after grenade for my kids and slowly just watching my feelings for her wither and corrode. This can't be the healthiest choice for me, but I've thought it through and gone through various scenarios with my attorney. This is seemingly my best play, trying to tread water in this life while finding peace and comfort where I can. Maybe I just need my own 4-year GF, then I can reassess after the last kid goes to college. Fool Redditors, is there anyone here that's walked a mile in these shoes? Is there hope or is it always going to be this way? Heart heavy and defeated? Thanks for listening. Now on to all the judgment. What's your take, people?